Thank you, Mayor. I have several items to mention today. The first one deals with water conservation and drought management. Yesterday we held a news conference where we announced the beginning of stage 2 drought. That's a moderate drought requirement. Basically entails outside watering once a week on your assigned solid waste collection day. It limits outside watering and car washing to that day. At the same time we have those restrictions, people should note that handheld and drip irrigation systems are allowed at any time. One of the points that we made there, and I'd like to make it again today, and that is that we have enough water to use. We never have enough water to waste. And conservation really should be part of our life. It should be not an event. It should be an ongoing way of life for us. And I think we probably also ought to mention that our drought contingency plan is triggered by the lake levels of Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon, which are about 40% now. Those two water resources are only part of our water supplies. We also have Lake Texana, which is 100% full. Lake Texana does not figure into the triggering of our drought stages. So we have Lake Texana, about 45% of our water comes from that source. By May of 2015, we anticipate the completion of the Mary Roads Phase 2 pipeline, which will bring another 35,000 acre feet to our city. So again, we have enough water to use. We never have enough water to waste.
Mr. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. Ronna, I was at a regional water planning group meeting yesterday talking about conservation and drought contingency plans. There was a conversation about the disconnect between, we say we're at 40%, but that's really only 40% of a part of our water system. And if you took the whole water system, you had a different number, and why we're not articulating where we're at as a total system. And is there a way to say we're at, the system's at 72% capacity, but still still have to meet the pass-through requirements and some of these drought contingency plans. So
Mr. Scott, I keep looking for a simple answer to that question, and I can't get one because you can talk about the percentage of water storage in Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon, but when you start figuring in Texana and other resources that we have and will have, they're not the same kind of measurement. So you get an apples and orange comparison, and then you have to guess. My guess is that we're over 60%, but that is only a guess, and I can't get an engineer to give me a scientific answer.
And if we did articulate our percentage capacity in the whole system, you'd have to still figure out a way to maintain some of these commitments we made for the Mary Roads. Choke Canyon. So is that something we're going to do? Can we have that conversation? Should we just move on, or is there a way we can say the system's at 62%, but the lake system's at 40%, and as such we're in, stage 2?
I'd like very much to be able to say what you just said. The problem is we can't say with authority that we're at 62% or whatever that number is.
And that's because we may not get the water?
No, it's because the way of measuring the percentage of our total capacity is different. And here's part of the reason I said this should be a way of life and not an event, is that in a way it doesn't matter what our water levels are, because we should be conserving this resource no matter how much water we have available to us.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about what is on the drought contingency plan that shouldn't be on it, that should be on the water conservation plan. Are there things that kick in at certain trigger points that really ought to be additional things?
Right.
That ought to be year-round things? And are there some things on the drought contingency plan that ought to be moved up? Instead of 40%, should be doing once a week at 50 or 60%. And I guess that's a conversation we may have.
Yes, we are planning a discussion on water conservation and water conservation efforts in the near future, and
Okay.
all of that will be on the table. I will note too, part of what you just said triggered a thought in my mind, and that is that last year, the efforts that we in our community made at conservation saved about 16%. We reduced water usage in the city by about 16%. And even when we went out of the drought stages, that same conservation continued on. And we are still conserving at the same rate as we did last summer. So,
Which is really profound, because I think our target's 1% reduction a year.
exactly.
And for all intents and purposes, we're at 16% the first year.
That's right. And
Wow.
and sustaining it.
Right.
So I really think that our community is, in fact, adopting a conservation attitude,
Right.
and it's conservation all the time.
Right.
And that's what we really want.
Okay, I just was curious if there's some way we could articulate the system-wide, just because how much does it represent? I'm sorry, I'm rambling on here, but so if we got Mary Roads and Mary Roads Phase 2, when it's
30%.
online, would
Mary
be.
Roads, Phase 1 is 30% of our
guys.
water.
Right, but with
Lake Texana, Lake Texana is about 175,000 acre feet in storage.
right,
Choke Canyon is about 750,000 acre feet. Lake Corpus Christi about 250,000 acre feet. So Lake Texana being 2/3 the size of Lake Corpus Christi, if you add it all up, it's about 1.2 million acre feet divided by the 300,000. It doesn't give you that storage capacity. All our water from Lake Texana is contract water.
Right.
We get it every year, 50,000 acre feet. So what I propose to come back to you maybe in August is maybe an index. We've reported on the 40% combined for the agreed order because it reduces our target levels and releases to 1,200 acre feet a month now that we hit 40%. So maybe we can come up with an index, or we report on both. Lake
Right.
Texana, contract water is 100%. We're going to get it every year versus the combined capacity of Choke Canyon. So it is apples to orange. We get contract water here, and over here we're measuring storage, which are two different things.
But if you add Lake Texana plus the interruptible plus Garwood, that's 87,000 acre feet.
Right, about 85,000 acre
85,
feet.
and how much do we
86.
have in what is our safe yield in the two lakes?
About, say, 200,000.
Okay.
So
Okay,
about
there-
200,000, something like that.
That's
So we'll try to come up with either an index or maybe a combination of reporting this side of this watershed, that watershed.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Mark.
The point is well taken.
Oh,
We
yeah,
need a-
we've been struggling with this for years, and I'll never forget Jay Reining. He's not here, Gus, but I'll never forget harking back to conversation with Jay Reining about this same struggle, knowing that it all evolves also around our water releases when we go down to 40% and what we're required. But with that said, with Mary Roads Phase 2, with the 35,000 acre feet, as Brent Clayton has communicated, and those numbers that you just disclosed on the acre feet of water for each water resource, that Mary Roads Phase 2 will be 30% of our demand on water. Is that correct? Yes. That's going to be, what a huge, significant insurance policy that we have for now. Okay, yeah, thanks. That was a necessary conversation to have, Mr. Scott. Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Olson? Yes, I did. We interrupted. You were going on to your next thought.
Yes, I do have some additional. We'll be holding 2 public meetings regarding street projects. Alameda Street, which is being repaired from Kinney Street to La Pon. There will be an open house tomorrow, beginning at 5:30 on the 6th floor of City Hall. Anyone interested in learning about the project or making comments about it is welcome to attend. On July 21st, there will also be a public meeting regarding Waldron Street and improvements there from Glen Oak Drive to Caribbean Drive. That meeting will be at 3125 Waldron Road, and it will begin also at 5:30. I wanted to make the council and the public aware that we have a new addition to our website. If you recall, when we were working through the street fee issue, we put a street fee calculator on the website, so a person could go in and put their own individualized information in it and figure out what their street fee was going to be. We've done the same thing with property taxes. We now have a property tax calculator on our website. Now, it only calculates the city portion of property tax. But if you want to know what the city portion of property tax is, you can go in the same way as the street fee calculator. You can put your individualized information in there, and it will tell you what portion of your property tax goes to the city.
Before you go to your next thought, maybe we can put a link on that the appraisal district has for each taxing entity's rate, because I refer to that all the time. I used to refer to it daily when I was in a different business. But with that said, that might be something helpful should they want to get the full picture.
That's a good point.
Mayor, if possible, if we do pass the phase 2 portion in the next 30 days on the bond election, would it be possible for people to access that calculator and find out what the impact to them would be if they voted yes for the second package?
Yes, I believe it would.
I'm not sure if your microphone is on, Mr. Olson.
I'm not sure how to turn it on.
There,
Mayor.
you're on now. You're
Okay.
on now.
Maybe I just need to speak up. One of our key staff members is leaving us. Dan Biles, who's been serving as our Executive Director of Public Works, where are you at, Dan? Come on up. Has taken another job, a promotion, I guess, and we are sorry to see him go. Dan has done a fantastic job for the city over the past, it seems like a lot longer than this, but 4 years that he's worked here. He's built confidence and credibility amongst the council and senior management in the work that he's done. I've told him that if he gets over there and finds out it was a mistake, he's always welcome to come back. But I want to give this recognition to Dan, presented with appreciation to Daniel F. Biles in recognition of 4 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Corpus Christi, Texas, as Executive Director of Public Works, and express appreciation. Thank you. You want to make a speech? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, wasn't really ready to say anything today since we're doing something on Friday, but it's been a wild ride. When I took this job 4 years ago, it was the first time I ever worked in local government, and I've really come to appreciate the impact that our sometimes small decisions can have on a broad segment of our community. And so part of what we're doing is moving on. It is a promotion for me to move on, to be able to continue to have that kind of an impact with the large segment of population at another location. And so we've really enjoyed our time here. We really love the city and the people, and we regret having to leave that part of it, but there'll always be a place in our heart for Corpus Christi, and so we've really enjoyed it here, and I appreciate this. I thank you, Mr. Olson, for the time here and everything else. So, and I'll have something longer on Friday, but I really wasn't ready today. So I have 2 more presentations later, so I was kind of in the mindset of those presentations. So,
well, we're going to miss you, Dan. Unfortunately, I'll miss on Friday, but with that said, you have been a strong voice of reason and integrity, and certainly very capable, and we wish you the best. and I am going to keep your email hot, hoping you'll come back. So thank you, and God bless you. We wish you and your family the best.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all of the information I have for this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.